Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to Hidden Row. So today we are with part 2 of the final season 5 tier list. So as you can see, we have the secret techniques here on screen. We're also going to be going over the cast characters, and then I found something that has some of the weapons, not all of the recent weapons, but we have 3 tier lists to get to today. So we're going to hop right into it, starting with the secret techniques. As you can see, I have the attack type secret techniques on here as well. I did do an exclusive attack type video before part 1 of the tier list, so if you guys are curious about my thoughts on attack type, make sure to go and check out that video. But as a refresher, I'm just going to go over the attack type secret techniques in this as well as the other types. So as you can see in detail at the bottom, these are the worst secret techniques. So I have Seafoam Karuta, Heavens Concealed, the Ghetto Statue, Susanoo Arrow, Massive Rasengan, the Enra Summoning, and Susanoo Intra's Arrow. So as you can see, these are pretty iconic moves for the most part. You already know Seafoam Karuta like decimated an entire forest. This decimated the entire Shinobi Alliance with Heavens Concealed. Ghetto Statue is pretty crazy. Susanoo Arrow, iconic. Indra's Arrow, pretty iconic. Massive Rasengan, iconic. Just very iconic moves, but when it translated to the game, very poorly made. And a lot of these are range type moves, so definitely buff range type secret techniques. Moving on up to C tier, I have Kamui, Thousand Arm Cannon, which is a pretty good secret technique, but the reason why it's here compared to the other attack type moves is because it charges super long, and it's, you know, it's pretty doable to avoid. It's pretty easy to hit, but it's also pretty easy to avoid if you see it coming. Same thing goes for Uzumaki Rasengan. It takes way too long to charge for you to use it over other attack type secret techniques. Then you have Eight Tails Tracker Mode, which has a crazy ninjutsu power buff as well as a crazy ninjutsu resistance. Problem is that it charges slower than a lot of the other transformations, and it's not a healing over time. Plus you don't get the invincibility frame, so you can get killed out of it and lose your secret technique and the spin at the end. Although it is like a one shot in most scenarios, the hitbox is very bad, and a lot of times I've seen myself getting hit out of it, so just very inconsistent. You have the Ink God Summoning. It's pretty spammable, the fastest charging range secret technique, but the damage isn't where it is. You need to run a restriction damage move to actually make it one shot. So it's pretty reliant on that, but it's not terrible. That's why it's only in the average tier. Same thing goes for Tandem Paper Bomb. You got to set it up. And most case scenarios, you'll either have to run Rinnegan, which, I mean, if you want to, you can, but I mean, there's other better things to run as a range type. And then of course, if you don't run Rinnegan with it, you're putting yourself in harm's way, or you got to make a big brain IQ move. And a lot of times people can just get out of it with whatever they're running, whether it be like a teleportation or swift step, just to run out of the way. You can also Kamui it, True Seeker Orbs, different things like that. And this is pretty much Tandem Paper Bomb on a smaller scale. It charges faster, does about the same amount of damage, but you sacrifice the hitbox for faster charge. The defense types, average secret techniques that I have here. Water Prison, it's a really solid move. It just charges too long for you to use it over something else. The super expansion jutsu actually is a really good one. The reason why I have it here is because it is very dodgeable. Like, it's super easy to dodge. It does charge super fast, and there's a lot of things you can do to set up with it. But if we're talking like in a team-based setting, you'd probably want to run something that'll better suit your team. So Link Combat Battle, this probably wouldn't be it. Base Battle, you could get away running with it. Flag Battle wouldn't be it. Survival Mode, you can, you know, do some things with it, but you know, you got to build around it, and it's not worth it in my opinion. This is kind of the similar situation, just it's easier to hit, and it's a faster charge. However, less damage, you're not invincible, and yeah, that's why these two are right next to each other. Sage Mode charges way too long for it to be used in anything really outside of survival mode. And then of course we already know buff, the dance, Uchiha Flame Dance, whatever the hell this is called, Flame Bomb Dance. Uchiha Blast Bomb or whatever it's called, but this needs a buff. It charges way too slow for what it actually does. It's very similar to the range type secret technique, or just on a bigger scale, but charges like twice as long. So this definitely needs a buff. It does have burn damage over time, so that's good, but I mean, people substitute out of it all the time, and it's not like a crazy burn damage like the actual Amaterasu that you get off of this Susanoo move, Takemikazuchi no Kami. So I have bugs here as well. Cellular Extraction just destroys bugs, and a lot of players are running it. Also, it gets destroyed by Emergency Exit, which is a very popular substitution. So that's why I have this here, as well as the acid, because again, Cellular Extraction will just destroy it. This is a solid secret technique, Uchiha Shuriken, but it's just very average because it doesn't actually kill like a multiple thing, and it charges a little bit slower now that they nerfed it. It's still a pretty decent charge speed, but as a heal type, you'd probably only run this in survival mode, not to support your teammates. This one is also solid. It charges fast. You can heal your team, but it doesn't do enough for me to warrant it to put it into B tier with the only other heal type move in B tier, just because, yeah, it charges pretty fast. It can become a third ninjutsu if you want to, but at the same time, it's like, okay, all it is an extra heal, you know. So I mean, it is a worldwide heal, but I mean, I don't see the value in it running it over any other heal type move. It's not bad by any means, but I mean, and it's completely useless in my opinion in survival mode. That's why I have Uchiha Shuriken, because this could actually be used in survival mode, whereas this, I guess, is better to be suited in all of the game modes. So I mean, you can move this up however you want. If you think it's B tier, then go ahead, but I mean, I just think it's very, very average. And then this, of course, good damage, charges slow, you're not invincible. So I have it right here above this. Again, the mist is so low because it just destroyed by status element removals. It does have good restriction damage. It does charges pretty fast, and it does remove substitutions from the enemy. It's pretty solid, but again, the hitbox is really short, and it's very easy to avoid. So yeah, it puts the heal type in harm's way as well. It doesn't protect the heal type from anything. So yeah, it's just average, mainly used like as a, you know, spammable third ninjutsu in survival mode, things like that. And then the particle dismantling jutsu is not a D tier move anymore. The charge speed, or the actual like travel speed of the move, makes it so it's easier to catch opponents. It goes through walls. It's a one shot. It charges pretty quickly. It charges fairly quickly now. Nothing crazy. I say it's around similar to the Shadow Pull. So yeah, not as good as Shadow Pull, because Shadow Pull can catch multiple people and it removes substitution. This will just take out one person. So I mean, it's solid. I think it needs a faster cast time, you know, so that you can shoot it out faster. Because it's still pretty easy to avoid. You have to catch somebody off guard, but I mean, that's easier to do now. So yeah, very average, not bad anymore. So moving on up to B tier. And before we get to B tier, notice how heal types don't have any bad secret techniques. They're all usable to some capacity, or they can do things. So shouts out to the heal types not getting any bad secret techniques anymore. B tier, we have lightning chakra mode. It's super quick and charging, one of the fastest charging secret techniques, second only to Boruto Strike. So it's very good. Planetary, you know, a classic. It's pretty solid, has a good hitbox, pretty easy to hit. 8 gates, has a crazy attack and defense boost. It also just boosts all your stats all around, but it also gives you the attack tracking that you would get from like Kurama Link mode, 8 gates. So it also can be oppressive. And then we have the tornadoes. The tornadoes is this low because it would be higher if time space hop wasn't a thing, but because time space hop is a thing, it actually it destroys this secret technique. But this secret technique competitively, where there is no time space hop, is like pretty much S tier. I think it's actually banned now because everyone uses it. But yeah, I dropped down 2 pegs because it doesn't do a massive amount of damage. And so because of its damage, it's like whatever, so dropped it down to A, and then dropped it down to B. Time space hop kills it. And then this secret technique is pretty good. It charges same time as tornadoes, but it keeps you completely invincible. The problem is it has very similar damage to tornadoes. I think a little bit more shuts off healing, but it's so easy to knock enemies out of it. And then the hitbox is very small too. A cool thing about this technique that I don't know if people know, but if you catch somebody mid-air with it and they get hit out of it, if there's a pit under them, they're just gonna die. You can't recover after getting hit from it. You're just gonna fall completely into the hole. So it's pretty cool for a pitfall tool if you can actually catch somebody mid-air like that, but you would have to use this as a counter move, which is a pretty solid counter move. Same thing goes for Totsuka Blade, very solid counter move, very good just to like deny the enemy. The problem is that it charges too long for me to put it any higher. Same thing goes for Takemi Kazuchi no Kami. Fairly easy to use. Some people just don't understand that you gotta be at a good distance. However, that distance is like a very, I would say like it has a sweet spot. If you're too far, then the enemy can just backflip away. If you're too close, the enemy can just jump right into you and block it. The burn damages on it is super solid. Like you're gonna like lose like 60% health just from the burn damage. Plus the burn damage decreases defense. So even if you do miss somebody and there's not an extraction around, you can KO them with just like 3 Senbone. So pretty solid one shot. And then this one is also good. You have to have a specific angle similar to Takemi Kazuchi no Kami, but you can hit people through the walls if you lock on from a distance at a good angle. It resets their secret technique as well, so you can just deny the enemy a big chunk of their secret technique. So yeah, pretty solid. Don't use it too close though. You might like knock your opponent up like over it or under it. Yeah, like I said, it requires a sweet spot. Heating is similar to this where you use it from a distance. However, heating requires a little bit more setup than this. However, it does have pretty decent charge speed. I think actually they charge the same. So yeah, that's why I was heating below the reanimation jutsu. And then for the Deep Force Emergence, very solid, good on base, good on combat. I don't know, maybe you can run on flag to like, you know, KO, but I don't think this is really a flag move. Definitely solid in survival mode. Just the defense debuff is crazy, plus the restriction damage, plus the room substitution. So you're just KOing people off of it. But it is something that you have to have a little bit more skill. I would say B is like more of the skill based tier. Like there's not a lot that carries. You gotta actually, you know, set it up in some capacity. Grand Standard Mausoleum is a little bit less skill based because you can just pop it and then catch somebody, and if you have Kamui, then it's a one shot. The problem is that it charges way too long, and again, you have to run Kamui to get the most out of this, or like some sort of like power boosting technique, which yeah, it's very situational. So it's up to B tier because it's so easy to hit, but drop down because it charges long and you have to prepare for it. Same thing goes for the Ishiki moves. Ishiki move is so sporadic, so random. It could be great or it could be totally ass. So that's why it's like up 2 and down 2 is just mid. And then of course Shark Bomb, really good, charges slow, has decent damage, but you can charge it faster the more people you hit. So yeah, give or take, it's good. You just have to have skill to use it. Same thing goes for Toads. Toad's a little bit easier to use, kind of like Grand Sand. You gotta use Kamui to get the most out of it, but it doesn't do as much damage as Grand Sand. Definitely doesn't like do the 15-second respawn time, but it does charge faster than Grand Sand. So it's very similar to Grand Sand in my opinion. And then of course Reaper Deathsteel, it's pretty much a one shot, but it takes so long to charge, just not worth it. And then you have Feather Illusion. So Feather Illusion is also here because it takes so long to charge, but it is a pitfall machine. So without that super long charge time, I would definitely move it up higher. For the A tier, we have Baryon Mode. Baryon Mode. And the only reason why it's right here in A tier and not S tier is because it takes way too long to charge. I think it's like the longest charging like requirement for alt charge in attack types, so you only get it like once per game. And even if you have like Waki's like strange tastes, I think maybe twice or 3 times, you know, most definitely twice, but 3 times he's like pushing it. You got to be super on your P's and Q's to actually get that off. But yeah, at least it's better than this one, which is super dominant in survival mode, not in much any other mode. But if you needed it to be, it's like basically a third ninjutsu with how quickly you can get this charged up as a correct type. So I have this here right next to it. And then of course the super buggy, super glitchy ritual destruction. It would be higher if it wasn't so glitchy, but I mean, it charges pretty long, so that's why it's also not in S tier. But the hitbox is crazy, like you're killing a lot of people if you aim this correctly. So I have it above Night Guy, which Night Guy kills you, so can't put it any higher than that. But Ultra Strike is the fastest charging secret technique in the game, and it's practically a third ninjutsu, so I have it here because it does great damage for it, you know, being so quickly charged. And then we have no range type secret techniques in S tier. So the best range type secret technique is Shikigami Dance Storm, and the reason why it's the best is because of all of its buff. It nerfs healing, it nerfs movement, it cuts off all of your ninjutsu. Pretty much all you got is your substitution, so this thing is killed by emergency exit, so that's why also I can't put it in S tier. Plus you need to coordinate with the team. At the highest level this thing is crazy, but I mean casually it's like whatever's, so that's why it's only in A tier. And the same thing goes for Kamui Shuriken. Its hitbox is pretty bad from a distance, which is where range types typically are. However, it is easy to hit up close. It goes through practically everything, so unless the person has a shotgun, it'll go through your time space hop, goes through Needle Jizos, True Seeker Orbs, Kamuis, things like that. So very solid. The only issue is that it takes really long to charge. I think it's like one of the longest charging secret techniques for range types, similar to these other ones down here. So yeah, I don't have an S tier either because of the charge time and this the skill requirement and being able to know like where the angle is for you to use it. Hit and miss, it doesn't KO or anything, but it's very great for game modes. All game modes actually: survival, base battle, flag battle especially, and then combat battle of course, because it sells substitution, slows down the enemy, and it gives them a slight defense debuff. So and an attack debuff, they're just debuffed all around. So it's killed by extraction, that's why it's not S tier, and most heal types will have extraction. But yeah, it's the best utility defense secret technique for sure. And it's worldwide. It's a worldwide, all these like universal map ninjutsu. This is probably the worst. Well, actually Bugs is the worst one, but this one is it's pretty crazy how good these universal moves are. And then we have 8 trigrams, 128 palms, very solid move. Only downside is that people can get hit out of it. I think that's it. It's so easy to hit somebody because it is a counter move. So if someone's charging you, just boom. And defense types typically hold down a point to, like, you know, counter somebody with this thing, catch multiple people, solid damage, hits people out of subterranean as well. So people can't even be under you because it's like a full 360 sphere that you're hitting in. And then it removes enemy secret technique for the most part, like a big chunk of it. So very solid move, A tier. And then of course Twin Lion Fist, similar thing, charges way fast, probably like the 3rd or 4th fastest charging secret technique in the game, and it does solid damage and it completely resets enemy secret technique. So very good move inside of survival mode. I think it's like the most popular survival mode secret technique for heal types, but it could also be used in every other game mode just to like have practically a third ninjutsu, because heal types, when they're healing, they're getting the secret technique crazy quickly. So very solid. And then of course you have slugs, which is just it's such a good support move. Like, it saves your allies from wherever. It's a universal heal, and it charges their secret technique. The only issue is that it's pretty long to actually charge it up, but once you get it going, then you can start cycling it out faster. But just the initial charge is pretty long, so that's why I have it here at A instead of S. And then we got the S tier moves. So I have Kurama Link mode as the best secret technique in the game. It does a lot of what all these other stuff does. It heals, ninjutsu cooltime, the attack gets a crazy speed boost, crazy damage from the actual fox head, and it lasts super long. It lasts like 30 seconds practically. So really good in all game modes. There's nothing it can't go wrong. Same thing goes for Kodomatsu Kami. Very solid in flag, very solid in combat. It's okay in base just because it like people sub off of the base, but it still can even be used in base. Solid in survival mode. Very annoying. You can't even remove its debuffs. Can't even remove it in no way, no how. So yeah, very irritating secret technique. Level 3 is also just a one shot button. It's just so easy to use. Just very solid in all game modes. If you need to kill, this thing will do it for you, and it charges as fast as like the range type secret techniques, like the faster ones like Keating, reanimation. It's also 2 on charge speed, so for a move that does so much damage, it's crazy how fast it charges. And then of course this is the fastest charging defense secret technique. Well, it's technically this one, the default defense one, but this one is so close. This might as well be a 4. And yeah, it's so good. It does great damage, and it restocks the defense types ninjutsu, and then again it charges crazy quickly. So the best secret technique for defense types in my opinion. Karma is also like that. It charges super long, which is crazy that it's still S tier, because it just defends from every single thing on this list practically, besides ritual destruction and night guy kick, which of course the counters to it is on the attack type. But yeah, this one it just shuts off like everything, and then the defense boost at the end, you're practically killing somebody. If you just have a hustle on strike, you catch them, remove their substitution, and then go in for the KO. This one is S tier, which is surprising that Ino's move is S tier, but let me explain. This thing pretty much shuts out every single thing on this list because of how quickly it charges. So the fact that it's a 3 on charge speed, and you can constantly get it by just healing your teammates and surviving and using super lightweighted boulder, you constantly having it as extra damage. It's a good pitfall machine. And then of course, like we said, it removes a crazy amount of secret technique charge from everyone on the enemy team. So if you're constantly getting it, it's constantly denying everyone else's secret technique. And so yeah, that's why I have it in S tier. It's banned competitively. Actually, all of these besides the Twin Rush and Shuriken are bad competitively, because Izanami charges slower now, but still just a free pitfall if there's pits on the map, and then you can't avoid it. Like, there's nothing you can do to avoid it. And then this, you can avoid it a little bit, but at the same time, it's such a good secret technique, especially in a team. It's a little bit harder to use when you're by yourself, because people will knock it out of it. But I mean, it's still like, if everyone's competent, which a lot of times if you're like a higher level player and you are placed with higher level people, then yeah, this one is solid. So this one actually could go down to A, just depending on like who you're playing with, you know, because like I said, it's easy to knock people out of it, but if people are competent, then yeah. And then of course, Rasen Shuriken, it's like one of those secret techniques that keeps the healer safe. The only issue with it is that it charges, I think it's like one of the longest. It charges as long as these two actually, but it restocks your ninjutsu, it revives the enemy team, it heals the enemy, it revives your teammates, heals your teammates, restocks everyone's ninjutsu, and then of course it's a one shot that is super hard to avoid. It's like Uzumaki Rasengan but on crack. So yeah, this is my secret technique tier list. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Just talk about like, oh, I think something should be B tier, I think something should go down to the D tier, you know. Let me know what you think. But for right now, this is just what I got, and we'll see how things change when season 6 starts. So the next tier list we have is the cast character tier list. So I'm not going to go over every single cast character. You can pause the video at any time just to see where I placed everyone. But I wanted to just point out a few key things. So like Killer B, the reason why he's D tier is because he's super floaty. His combos are very stubby. He doesn't have a charge attack stun, and of course, as an attack type, he's very defensive. So he can't be really aggressive unless he's Octopus Hug, which is still hard because again, his combos are very floaty, you know, and most combat is going to be on the ground. He doesn't have anything to drop anybody to actually use his ground combos, and then yeah, he is a hard cast character to use, and he out of everyone in here, I would say is the worst cast character. You can make an argument that there is no D tier cast characters because they're all good in their own way. They're all balanced in their own way, which is why the middle is so heavy. Like I just had to separate it somehow. Like honestly, I could put everyone up into B tier, but I mean, I just had to like just divide this some in some way just to make it look clean. But yeah, for the most part, Killer B is the worst cast character in my opinion. And then the best cast character in my opinion is Mitsuki, because Mitsuki is so hard to fight. He is constantly getting healed from his push and his pull, and then he has Sage mode, he has Kunai, and his combos are like an attack type, which he can just cycle like air combos crazy. He has good hitbox. Of course, his heavy attack is armored, and then he's pretty fast and for a defense type. Like a lot of these defense types, their speeds vary depending on who you're playing. Like Mitsuki runs faster than Gaara, which is crazy, but yeah, Mitsuki moves faster than Gaara. So he's pretty much an attack type with defense type stats. It's crazy how good Mitsuki is. I would say Naruto's the second best cast character because he just plays so oppressively. Like you can't substitute any of his things. Like he's super powerful. And then of course Kurama Link mode carries his whole cast into the S tier. So before I continue on, I don't think I actually mentioned what this cast character tier list is about, but this is the tier list for Hero Festival. So just how good the cast character is, not the DLC or what their rewards bring, but just how they fight. So Itachi, I would say, is pretty up there. It could go either way with Itachi and Neji on who you think is better. But Itachi, I think he's carried by Izanami. Of course, Yasuke got nerfed, but he's still solid. Tsukiyomi is pretty good, has a heal tag, so that's always good. Neji, he has a crazy fast charge attack stun. Of course, body blow and just Hazan strike put together makes him hard to deal with. Like he can remove your sub, but even if you're fighting him, body blow will keep him safe. He doesn't have any heals, which is his downside, but also his secret technique is very good if you're trying to charge him. He's so good at just denying you, and that's why I have him here up in S tier. Itachi is very oppressive. His kunai spam is amongst the best in all of the game. I'd say he's only behind Nagato, which has a better grounded heavy attack than Itachi, but his kunai spam is crazy. Amaterasu is super solid. He controls space. Itachi is just one of the best cast characters to use. And then of course Kabuto, he's so good with like surviving and keeping your team surviving. And then of course he has Feather Illusion, which can set up combos, set up your team's secret techniques, or straight up pitfall. And then he has a heal tag as well. So not only is he hard to deal with to kill because he has his cellular activation, but then he has a heal tag on top of that. And of course, you know, Chakra Scalpel would deny anything that you're doing to try and kill him. He's just a survival beast. And yeah, he's like, a lot of these guys can play as like themselves in actual, like with actual creative characters that do just fine. So that's my top echelon. You can see the Hyperion mode below that. Bear mode just gets destroyed by a lot of what these guys can do up here. Kakashis are pretty solid. They're good for flag running whenever Hero Festival does a flag running. I say these are the best flag runners because Sharingan, Lightning Blade, Kamui, and then Kamui Lightning Blade, just hella good. Kawaki, even though he has good ninjutsu, his ninja is pretty slow on charging. It does good damage, but also his combos are a little bit floaty too. So I'd say the combos hold him back from being better. Kisame is really good as well. Shark Bomb holds him back, but I mean he's similar to Mitsuki in that regard of just being an oppressive defense type. Ishiki as well, like he shuts down a lot of these people. Honestly, Ishiki could be up here with Baryon mode, to be honest. So I just don't like the way this thing looks, but Ishiki's hella good. So yeah, this is my tier list. As you can see, I don't like Ino's the worst just because healing, but all heal types are good in survival mode. Or survival mode good in Hero Festival. Like you can't go wrong with them. Like always try to have a heal type with you. Tsunade and Madara and Onoki and Naruto, I would say, is a little bit above these guys just because of what they do to support the team. Tsunade is like hard to kill because of her defense boost from her attacks, and then she has a great offense with her nervous system rupture, and then of course the slugs will just support your team even further. So yeah, this is my cast character tier list. I didn't really know what to do with these because a lot of these guys, like I said, they're solid. Everyone has good combos for cast characters. Everyone has kunai, which can help, you know, do what you got to do. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this tier list, and then let's move on to the weapons. So these are the weapons. I kept all the reskins on here just to like make it so it's not cluttered. But of course, you already know Asuma Knuckle Knives is probably the best. But I guess in survival mode, in terms of survival mode, but then again, you can get away with using it anywhere, you know. It just, the only thing that Asuma Knuckle Knives or Claws has over Asuma Knuckle Knives is that Asuma Knuckle Knives needs the ground to be super effective, whereas Claws, you can just do it anywhere. And of course, the double moon bladed sword is so damn annoying. Like it's a ranged attack that has high priority, but it's also armored, so you just clear bases. Yeah, it's crazy how good these three moves are. Regular Claws is also good too. The hitbox is crazy, so it's the only thing is I have to spin, but it's still hella good. So don't think that regular Claws is any better than the actual broken Claws. Honestly, regular Claws can go up here too. It's just the combo, like you get the sub lock on the freaking regular ass combos. Like all you do is press slide attack twice and you get the sub lock again. So yeah, regular Claws is also just like one of the best weapons in the game. Regular defense type sword is super solid, good damage, good heavy attack. This one is the fan is great for 1v1 survival mode. It's super good. Kusanagi, Jitsu Katana, very good. They don't have the healer fists in here, or as well as the bubble pipe or the Lapis Thunderblades, but I think I would put these also in great. This is probably the best heal type weapon because the heavy attack is so good. It has a very good hitbox. It's pretty fast, and of course the blast bomb sword is great damage on it, especially with restriction earrings and restriction damage like this wood strangle, this water poison, hella damage. You're getting like 40% off one button press. And then all the other attack type weapons are good. They're super fast. I wouldn't say attack type has any average weapons. Everything is good for attack type. You got the Kagemasu sword. You got the healer needle with the charge attack, so it like does this little poke thing. This one is solid. And then of course the regular umbrella, similar to this umbrella, just doesn't have the explosion. But yeah, I would say the regular umbrella or the spear is lower because the charge attack is so easy to beat, you know. But it does have great damage, good combos. Life is also solid. The average weapon would be the regular heal type sword, the defense type weapons, and of course the regular defense type sword or heal type sword. But the poke variation, they're the same in my opinion. This one has less damage, but has you can combo for longer, and this one's solid as well. So below average weapons, you have all the rest of the range type weapons. So you have the Hidden Cloud sword, this regular dagger, the kunai, the thunder released, and then of course the Kakashi chakra swords. All of these are pretty terrible in my opinion. So and then of course the Samehada, a lot of the combos, they don't connect. So Samehada is pretty good in the air, but because the ground combos, they have such big gaps in it, I can't make it an average weapon until they fix the combos. So yeah, these are my weapons that I have so far. I know this is all I have to work with, so I can't put anything else on here, like the heal type, you know, thunder, backhanded explosion, you know, fight soul, you know, the shooting stars, all those things aren't on here, so I can't rank them. But yeah, so these are the tier lists. Again, here's the cast character tier list for hero mode. Let me know what you guys think. If I'm underrating somebody like Zabuza, which Zabuza's combos are just so floaty, I can't put him higher, even though he does have Demon Hunter and a lot of people don't have any armor breakers. But yeah, he's so floaty, I can't put him any higher. Who else would be somebody that to highlight? Guy is hella good. Guy could honestly be an S tier with Baryon mode, because his combos, all of them do a Kusanagi charge attack stun, which if you don't know, that's like straight up making your character stun for a long time. Inoki has that on his jump light attack, so Inoki's hella good too. This is just my cast character tier list, but let me know if I'm underrating Choji or something like that. I know Choji is pretty solid, I used it before. And then of course the secret technique tier list. So with that out the way, I will see you guys for season 6 of Shinobi Striker. I'm excited to see what Minato's all about, but let's get the discussion going on these tier lists down in the comment section below. And with that being said, you guys have a fantastic day. Peace.